And we are live. What's good, family? It's your man Aaron Ferris of blackmentravels.com. And I'm coming here today to discuss SYSBM versus Passport Bros. I guess Passport Bros is what they're calling it, so we're gonna name it that. But beforehand, we're gonna discuss a few other topics and let people, come on in the room. But man, 2020 has been a hell of a year so far. In January, we lost Kobe. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, one of the great basketball players of all time. Not only a great basketball player, but a good brother. A good brother that not only mastered the game of competition, but he also was a traveler. A lot of people don't realize that. Kobe was around the world. Kobe definitely exercised his options. So rest in peace to that brother. He was some people would call him a different type of brother. He's not like the normal guy you would see with a whole bunch of tattoos, and he was just a fierce competitor. And he exercised his option. He married a Latino woman, and shout out to that brother. But rest in peace to him, and prayers go out to his family. So that's what happened in January, tough month. But then you had this coronavirus coming out in February, and that's really the main talk right now. This coronavirus is, I believe personally, it's being hyped, and because the media is playing into it alongside with the government, you have a whole lot of shutdowns and quarantines. And I do believe that it is possibly some type of virus outbreak, but I think the media and the government is trying to take advantage of it for whatever reason. Now, it's been told to me that it might be something trying to introduce universal basic income. I'm not sure. But this coronavirus, man, it's deep. It's deep, brother. So just got to be careful, man. Stay on your vitamins, get your vitamin C packs, drink some water. If you can, stay away from large crowds. Just do that accordingly to the best way you can. I honestly feel like it's being hyped up. I'm not really sure what's if any black people have died from it yet. Not positive yet, brothers, but I know a lot of African melanated nations are pretty much clear of the coronavirus from what I've been seeing, reading in different articles. What's going on, Big D? Belize is coronavirus free. The people that did die in Africa were not African, actually, were not phenotypically African. They were like Asian African or European African. So this is very interesting, we're gonna have to see this out. But unfortunately, my ticket to Brazil got canceled next month. So a little disappointed in that. I was definitely looking forward to chopping it up with a couple of guys in Brazil, Alan Harper, and a couple of other cats. I'm probably going to push it back to either May or June. More likely, I'm just going to skip down to the DR, in April, have a good little time. So we're definitely going to see what's going on with the DR next month instead, if they don't do any travel bans. So guys, do me a favor. I want to just show you the website, blackmentravels.com. Let me see here. Here we go. So you guys, do me a favor and check out the website. We got a lot of good articles on there. We're still working on the travel services page, but you can definitely read the blogs, check out the Munger Cam, and you can also join the social community that we have on there. The social community is being updated, so be a little patient with us, fellas. Think about these social communities, man. It's like you got to really take your time building it. A lot of guys try to give you this BS script and say, hey, this is the best thing out here for WordPress. But, when you build these websites, the best thing you can do is just keep at it, so we're working on that, most definitely. But anyway, I want to talk today about SYSBM versus Passport Bros. Now, recently I was in a hangout with Edward Anderson, and the topic of SYSBM came about, and some of the brothers might not be familiar with SYSBM. It's kind of big right now. A brother by the name of Aaron Fountain made a horrific article that was totally untrue about SYSBM, talking about it's just a hatred towards black women and all this other stuff. But Basically, SYSBM is save yourself, black man. And some of the rules of it is focus on your purpose and focus on yourself, because society has not conditioned these women to be a productive counterpart to you. So because of that, you have to save yourself any way you can. And I told them on the stream that Passport Bros was more focused on the solution, and SYSBM was focused on the problem. Now, what I mean by that is you do have for years within the black manosphere, not only the black manosphere, you got MGTOW, other movements, but for years you've had men complaining about the current state of women in the United States or in the West, period. And it's very frustrating, but within that, you had somewhat of a paralysis by analysis, right? You had brothers that got comfortable with complaining about the women in the States. Not necessarily black women, but all women, really, you know, Western women in general. And it's one thing to, and I agree with a lot. First and foremost, I do agree with SYSBM. I don't consider myself an SYSBM guy, but I do agree with a lot of what they're saying. My only thing is, I'm more of a guy. This is just me. This is my, my opinion, and it's a lot of brothers like this. I'm not the type of guy that's going to just sit around after we figure out the problem and keep discussing the problem. I'm going to figure out a solution for myself, and I'm going to share my solution with other brothers. Now, my solution is my solution. Okay, I got that solution from listening to the brother Charles Tyler. Rest in peace, Charles Tyler. Looking at the Frustrated documentary by Al Grease, great filmmaker, guys. You got to check out Frustrated. He's coming out with another one. And I agreed and identified with what they were saying. Before that, I had only been like to Jamaica with my girl, and I'm not gonna really, Jamaica, traveling with your girl, it's totally different than travel by yourself. Passport mine, hey, when you are going back to Brazil. I was scheduled to go back to Brazil in April, brother, but American Airlines canceled the ticket. So with the passport thing, the traveling thing, from watching the documentary, looking at Charles Tyler's videos, I said, you know what? That's a viable solution for me. Now, that's what works for me. It might not work for everybody. And that's cool. That's what it is about being a man. You have to do what's best, serves your best interest, not everybody else's. But you do have these brothers out here that really don't want to solve the problem because there's so much money in re-energizing the problem over and over again. It's like trouble porn, like brothers would sit there on Hangouts for 6 to 8 hours talking about the problems with the women in the States. And my thing is, hey man, I'm good. I date casually if I date at all in the States, but for me, I decided to get a passport and travel the world. Now, some brothers will have an issue with that, which brings me to the recent events. And I hate to bring this even up with this sick motherfucker named Miko Worldwide. Now, most of you probably already know about Miko Worldwide. If you don't, it's this dude, this guy, all right, this mixed guy with dual citizenship. He has a German background. He was living in Atlanta, and he did some very horrific things to some children. He's a pedophile, basically. And he had no association whatsoever with any brothers traveling within the Passport Bros era, basically. That section of YouTube, he had nothing to do with. He was on his own tangent. He was really LGBTQ, in all honesty. Salute Brooklyn GQ. And he got caught up out there in Colombia. And there's been a lot of videos. I'm not going to get all the way into it, but it's not so much the Miko situation, what he did. It's horrific what he did. He will get whatever he deserved if he makes it out of Colombia at all. But it was the brothers that came out and tried to associate this clown with the Passport Bros. And we're just going to use Passport Bros Uh, Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, here we go. We're just going to use that terminology for right now because that's what everybody's calling us, the Passport Bros. And I was wondering, like, man, why would they associate this clown with us? And it's really a personal thing for the most part. Now, not a lot of guys were doing this. This is just only maybe a few out of the many. Because even when I did the stream on the Sunday Rumble with O'Shea, shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson, most of the guys in the chat were pretty much on our side. Like, you can't associate just a guy, some random dude with the Passport Bros sector on YouTube. So we cleared that up. And they did a lot of backtracking, so we calmed that a little down. We quelled that bullshit pretty quickly, which led me to the whole SYSBM discussion. And like I said, on the Edward Anderson stream, we were discussing the differences between SYSBM, Save Yourself Blackmen, and Passport Bros. And like I said, it's many solutions to it. Now, I'm going to say this. You do have guys that are trying to their best to monetize this whole SYSBM thing, right? You got the PUA coaches that's telling you, now if you decide to go this route, this is on you. And I can't argue with the way you decide to go on dealing with how to move in the matrix. But you got some guys that say, hey, man, and I'm not going to call it out. Ain't nobody really in particular. But they say, hey, man, if you get game, if you get my Macking programs, if you listen to me, and if you support my movement, my channel, I'll tell you how to really talk to these women and get these women in the States. Which couldn't be more of a load of BS, let me tell you. Because in all honesty, the juice is simply not worth the squeeze. What these dudes can do in 6 months dating in the Matrix, I can do in 6 days overseas. Let's just be honest. Young Jay, what's happening? And you know what? The juice is going to be a whole lot better. Minister Jap had a stream today, and I'm not calling it, Minister Jap. Jap is cool, but he had a stream today talking about, the normal talking points, women and shit like that. And he was getting on Dr. Boyce Watkins for being kind of game goofy, and Dr. Boyce is a little game goofy. And, he was saying, this, that, and the other. But my thing is, what's the solution? What's the solution? You get on these guys about being game goofy, and you just this Mac guy, and I'm not talking about this with Minister Jack in particular, but my thing is, okay, we get it. We get it. The women in the States are effed up. We got that part. All we're saying is this is an offset. This is one of the many solutions. And you try to criticize brothers for traveling overseas because you're mad and upset because they're getting it how they're getting it. And listen, as a man, let's get back on code as men, because I don't give a care what a man does with how he get his. He gets his. Cortez Smith, what's good, my brother? What's happening with y'all fellas? So Passport Bros is just simply one of the solutions. Brothers traveling overseas, for whatever reason they decide to travel overseas, okay? Some decide to date seriously. Some want wives. Some want to just have fun. You got guys that have lost millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars between divorces, child support. But then you have guys who didn't have to go through that, right? You got guys that say, hey, I'm not going to have no kids with these women. Damn these women. I'm going to travel the world. And you got to support that to a certain degree. You might not agree with that, but let that man be him. Let him do him. That's my whole thought process. If you want to get a whole bunch of Macking books from these guys to, invest in these women, then by far go ahead. You haven't heard any Passport Bros really talk down on anybody because we're too busy traveling the world. We're too busy trend setting, basically. Man, this travel sector has gotten huge. When I first got the domain name blackmentravels.com, I was on the phone with a chick at GoDaddy, and she was like, Black Men Travels, a sister. You can tell by the voice. She said, blackmentravels.com. They do. And I'm like, yeah, you got brothers with passports, you got brothers that travel. And she's like, oh, okay, all right. The thing is, man, when you a type of guy that decides to solve a problem when it's actually money in the problem, it's almost like the pharmaceutical companies, right? They got cures for all these diseases, but they want to monetize it. There's a cure for the coronavirus right now, even though I heard, it heals itself. Your body heals itself in a couple of weeks. I heard that it only attacks people with weak immune systems. But I'm sure it's something you can do to get rid of coronavirus. Hell, probably take a shot of black seed oil or something. Apple cider vinegar. It's something very simple. But you think they're going to put it out? Today, they're testing a vaccine for it right now as we speak. Why? Because it's money in the vaccine. So you're going to have a lot of brothers, man, who their whole channel, their whole brand is based on the problem. I mean, these guys will sit on these hangouts for 6-7 hours talking about some fucking women, man. Come on, man. Yeah, we all love women, but is it that goddamn serious? Get a goddamn passport or do what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do. So I just want to sum that up real quick, brothers. Brothers, do me a favor. Check out the website when you get a chance. If you haven't already subscribe. We got almost 800 subscribers in 1 week. So it's a movement. This travel sector is getting big. Are the women overseas a little bit better stock? Yeah, let's just be honest. And it's just not that, man. It's just that you're expanding your dating pool. That's all it really is. Markel TV, hey, we got to do an interview, bro. What's good with you, brother? I just saw that. Yeah, we definitely got to do an interview about Colombia. Let's read some of these comments. African Movement says, I'm in Africa right now. Mr. Diggs says, how has it been, fam? It's been good. Damn near on lockdown here in Texas. Hey, man, I'm on lockdown here in Atlanta. Yeah, Young Jay, they do 8 and 12-hour streams about women, man. I'm like, man, I'm done with it. I'm over it. When it first came out, I definitely, I was loving it at first because I was able to identify with it. Like, yeah, I've been going through this bullshit too for years, man. That's why I decided not to have any children. But you got this thing where you got some brothers that be like, oh, you just ain't got no game. That's why you travel. You can't get them here. I don't want them here, in all honesty. Appreciate that, Brands. Appreciate that, brother. We definitely got to do an interview as well, man. Rich Life, what's going on? I'll be in the DR next Thursday, God willing. Hey, you know what? Background hustling. I'm thinking about going to the DR as well, man. I gotta get up out of here. I've been talking to my chicas on the phone. They're just like, everything's good. They got a new mayor down there in the DR, or the Sosua in particular. So I'm thinking about that as well. All right, Markel, I'm definitely gonna hit you up. Yeah, Atlanta's getting crazy, man. It's hard to find toilet tissue and hand sanitizer. I think it's a bunch of hoopla. They keep finding these random 1 or 2 cases, but you still got people dying from the flu than the coronavirus. So it's something behind it. Like I say, bro, just be careful on how you move. Stock up just in case. I got a bunch of oatmeal, some eggs, some pancakes. Stuff that don't really go out. A couple of cases of water. We'll be good. So yeah, man. But once again, fellas, at least this channel, Blackmen Travels, it's just based on solutions. That's what Charles Tyler taught us. Man, focus on the solution, not the problem. As solution-based brothers, you just move a different way. Period. We just move different. We think different. And a lot of people don't like that. Exactly. The matrix should only be used for economic purposes only, not leisure. I agree cold-heartedly, brother. 100% facts. I don't even date. I date every now and then. If some woman piques my interest, but for the most part, it's a bunch of hogwash, man. I mean, they're looking for Mr. Impossible, basically, in my opinion. O'Shea did a real good video today, man, talking about dating in the States, on how you gotta play all these games and you gotta act like you don't like her. You gotta play the whole text message game. I don't have to do that when I'm talking to women overseas. I can just be straight up. But I will say, dating in the matrix By the time you hit your mid to late 30s, you will be cold, brother. You will be ice cold. What Andre 3 Stacks? No, matter of fact, it was Big Boy. Cold in the polar bear toenails when it comes to the dating market. I got to a point, man, and I'll tell the story before I go. I got to a point, I'm not even going to lie. I'm a little ashamed to admit this, man, but I got to a point in dating when I started cursing out women on the dates. And I would say that strategy, it worked a few times. I just got tired of doing it. I was on this one date with this badass little red bone. I wonder if I can find a picture. I'll try to look for a picture real quick. I was on a date with this little chick from Detroit, man. And we went like a little bar hopping off of this little area we call Camp Creek. So we went to a couple of bars and we're drinking heavy and, we're talking and, for the most part, we're having a good time. And then she hits me up. She tells me, she said, hey, I'm ready. I got to head on home. And I'm like, hey, man, I think I said, what you about to do or something, but I just knew it was fake. Like I could feel that she was going to somebody else's house. You know what I mean? I got her drunk. I fed her, got her drunk. And I commenced to kind of go off a little bit. I don't know exactly what I said. I don't remember what I said. But I told her she could walk her ass back to her car. And she was like, I can walk to my car because she drove to the next bar with me. She was like, what you mean I can walk to my car? I said, man, you ain't about to leave me and fuck some old dusty ass nigga around the corner. You can walk your ass back to the car. Matter of fact, tell him to pick your ass up. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Go on about your business, man. Enjoy my night. I sit here by my goddamn self. Fuck it. And she commenced to crying. Pretty red bitch too. She's crying and shit. She was like, I can't believe you just cussed me out like that. I'm not going. I'm going home. I gotta get up early. I said, man, that's bullshit. You told me you was off tomorrow. You just, whoever you texting you, man, tell him to come pick your ass up. I'm not taking you back to your car. And she just sat there for a second. And I guess she realized that she was like, I thought this was a nice guy. He ain't really no nice guy. And to make a long story short, she was performing, what's her name? She was doing her thing in the car, in the parking lot, bro, at 2, 3 in the morning with your boy. All because I went off on her. And I'm like, who got time for all that, to play all these goddamn games and shit? She was doing the whole Monica Lewinsky on your boy in the parking lot at 2, 3 in the morning. All because I displayed myself to be an asshole. This is after she crying and she was just all in awe of her brother then. It lasted for maybe a couple more weeks, but she realized I was a good dude and she got bored and, probably moved on. So who got time to be doing all that though? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the type of game these guys is going to tell you to do. Let's just be honest. They're going to tell you to do this and do that, man. Who got time for that, man? If you're going out with somebody and you're dating them, you should be genuinely interested in them. You shouldn't be trying to just come up off a couple of drinks and a couple of food because the guy you're going to give it to can't afford to buy you shit. You feel me? So like I say, more often than not, in my opinion, this brother's opinion, the juice is simply not worth the squeeze. What these dating coaches can do in 6 months, you can do overseas in 6 days. Hell, maybe 2, 3 days. It's all on you. And you don't have to pay for it. All right. You might have to learn a little bit of the language. You might have to, court her for a while or so, But for the most part, man, the juice is simply just much better. Now, I'm just going to end it with this. SYSBM is cool. It is about saving yourself, black men. But on this channel, at least, we're going to focus on more of a solution than the problem. Peace, fellas.